Very lucky to have the Audi E-Tron GT on the channel. Not the RS model, but the new GT model. Almost 500 brake horsepower of it. Full EV vehicle. I've literally got about half an hour left before I've got to give the car back. It's snowing in the Dublin Mountains. Jesus. My God, it's fast. It's the first Audi that doesn't need any air intakes coming in here at all. Now it does have slips over the side of the car and they go right the way past the backs of the wheels, which are 20s. But there's kind of this textured finish on the front of the grille here. There's a frunk inside here with 71 litres, but as soon as you put your charging cables into it, that's kind of gone. You can get laser matrix style headlights on the front, which are amazingly bright, will do pretty much double the throw at night time, and they'll stop the car dazzling oncoming vehicles. And what do we think? It's almost like a TT in some shapes over the front of the car. And down here there's these, I don't know what they are, whether they're sirens to say get out of the way, because this is a seriously quick car. It's like as if there's different levels to the accelerator. It's like tiny bit, loads of power, middle bit, a lot of power, and then floored, and it's your head is genuinely shoved right into the back of your seat.
With 472 brake horsepower on tap and 530 in boost mode for up to 2.5 seconds, the GT is no slouch. 0 to 100 kilometers takes a little over 4 seconds. So the skies over Dublin may not be as blue, but it's still a cracking car to drive.
Sitting on 20-inch alloy wheels. 19s will be standard. You're probably going to want to upgrade them. 21 is where you can go to on them. The CCS and AC charging. CCS on that side, AC on both. We'll tell you more about charging and how long that'll take in a few minutes. And there's a different colour, black, along the side of the car. Extra airflow here. And that really small sloping roof. Does it impact on head height? We'll discuss it later on. They've done something to the floor to avoid that happening actually. But it's almost like a squished up Audi A7 in parts.
Standard, the car is capable of 11 kilowatt charging on a wall box, but if you've got just over 7 at home, that'll take a fairly hefty 14 hours to charge to 100%. A 93.4 kilowatt hour battery with 85 kilowatt hours of that usable. And the car is capable of using charging speeds up to 270 kilowatts. At the moment in Ireland, that means Ionity and not much else, but it's only a matter of time before more appear. In this case, it's possible to boost the battery from 5 to 80% in 23 minutes.
So that kind of A7 vibe is still continued here. It's the same underpinnings as the Porsche Taycan, and I think rear shot anyway, this is the better looking car. You've got a red brake that goes right across the back and a diffuser down here. There's no fake exhaust or anything going on, but it still looks cool and will pop even more on the lighter colours. Getting into the boot, it's just over 400 litres. Not the biggest boot in the world, and the access point to it is quite narrow. There's a little bit of storage. It's not the deepest boot. It's quite shallow here. There's still a bit of storage, extra storage down here to store cables and extra bits. And it actually looks, it's bigger in real life than it looks on film, which is okay. And it's electronically opened and adjustable. But I think as backs go, that's pretty gorgeous. So let's talk about the back of the GT for a couple of moments. It's quite a snug fitting into the door. Massive thud when you close it though. The panoramic glass roof is standard in Irish cars, which is good because that further kind of makes you feel like you're not claustrophobic back here. The bucket seats there, it says it's a 3-seater back here. I'm not quite sure if it is. It reminds me of the Panamera in how low down they are. Now there is a transmission tunnel. The reason there is because the way the batteries are designed. 30 of the cells are up to this point. There's only 3 back here, but they've kind of dug down into the floor pan to give you room for your legs. And it does mean then that even in a pure EV ground up vehicle, there's a transmission tunnel.
Rather than have a flat floor on the J1 platform, there's 2 cutouts for rear passengers to give better leg and foot comfort, which can be seen in the images.
You get heated seats and climate back here and 2 vents. And there is charging ports, but they're actually tucked under here. I've never seen that before in a car like that. There's an armrest, which is probably the best place for this is down, because it really is. I mean, I don't know how you're going to fit 3 people into the back of this car. And they've cut out bits of the seats so your knees aren't totally cut off like you've been in some sort of punishment beating. That even locks into place. Very Audi. So let's talk about the front of the e-Tron GT. It still feels really Audi-like. Centre console, very familiar to the A6, the A7, the A5 now as well. This is a little bit different. There's kind of a centre display for your range, your speed, what gear selector you're in. It's so crisp. The contrast of it is gorgeous, and they still have included physical buttons down here for temperatures and climate change, although you can do that with the voice control on the car, reverse, neutral and drive. And even though it's an electric vehicle, there is actually 2 gears in it. One is predominantly used most of the time, but another one is used for using launch control, which is blisteringly quick.
On the e-Tron GT, repeated launch control is possible, just like ludicrous mode in a Tesla. And even though it's an EV, there's actually 2 gears. One for launching the car, the second is used the majority of the time, and in efficiency mode, the power can go to the front wheels only to save battery. One area that Tesla still have the edge though, is just how efficient their cars are compared to just about everybody else.
This rises up, so you're totally separated from your front passenger, and there's decent storage here, but it's okay. Place to wirelessly charge your phone is tucked away down there. It means that you're not going to be distracted while you're driving. And some cup holders, including a nice little Audi style ashtray, which is kind of unusual in a futuristic car like this, that they put an ashtray in it, but there you go. But you're going to sit into this car and just feel like you're in something special, and whether that's how low your body's planted behind the wheel, you can't even see the end of the bonnet from it, it just feels amazing. Everything wraps around you. It's something quite unique, and just the finishing touches and the quality of the materials and everything, it's everything you dream of that you won't get in certain other types of EVs. You know the ones I'm talking about. Let me know your thoughts so far though. What are you thinking? How are you feeling having seen the car in the flesh? Well, in the flesh as much as possible. Leave your comments below. I've never driven an electric car before with almost 500 brake horsepower on tap. Especially the one that has a sound that you can spend an extra €600 on to do this kind of sci-fi, robotic, kind of V8 rumble. Kind of sounds like it. Jesus, it is proper shove you in the back of the seat performance. You can actually feel the car just dip down as you brake. That is incredible performance. So initial thoughts, like really low down, sitting position, feels like you're sitting on the floor. I think for €600, that sound enhancer thing that's worth it. I know it might sound weird, but it's cool. This car has optional assist packs that it's got cameras all over on board, and it can sense things all around you in 360 surroundings. I've seen a lot of people say that there's quite a lot of tyre noise off the car. Now this is on 20-inch, the standards are 19s. A lot of the Johnny Smiths and others reviews, that car is on 21s, and I wonder does that make a difference to the overall tyre noise, because this is quite acceptable for me. That change of tempo is just blisteringly quick. As soon as you just steer, I'm gone. It's nearly It's nearly changed the direction of the car before your brain has had time to work out the fact that you're about to change direction. That's insane. Okay, at 123 kilometers an hour, there is a bit of wind noise over the pillars. That is quite noticeable, actually. As soon as you make even minor adjustments to the steering, you can feel the car shift. It's like it's so taut. And they've got that lovely, familiar surroundings of an Audi, a modern Audi, and it just feels like you could be behind the wheel of an RS7, just with a bit less red stitching.
Now, for the money bit, and let's compare it to a similarly matched Taycan 4S while we're at it.
Just over €102,000 for the standard car. It's a lot of dollar, it is, but when you're thinking about the types of cars that this can compete with, I mean, it's based on the same J1 platform as the Taycan, which in Ireland is funny because a J1 is a visa you get if you're a student and you want to go into Latin America for the summer. It's called a J1 visa. And the only students that could afford a car like this are going to have won the lotto, or else they're mature students who are already neurosurgeons. This car's blind spot, which isn't standard, but it's picking up cars in the distance, and as people drive by, they're just craning their necks to have a little look at what the hell this is. God, it's so fast. It's just to think that this is produced by electricity. And I haven't even taken it onto a winding country road yet. You can upgrade the brakes to up to and including ceramic ones. I didn't even ask the Audi people how much they cost because there's no point. I'd say it's 5 figures. So motorway driving done. A little bit noisy over the 8 pillars. Nothing too much to write home about at the same time though in terms of negativity. It's smooth and it's composed and it behaves itself. No problem.
The GT can plan fast charging into your journey using nav and will automatically condition the battery to the precise temperature that will enable the fastest level of charging. Using Ionity, for example, here in Ireland, that would mean 100 kilometers of range in just 5 minutes.
So frontal collision avoidance is standard. The reversing camera can be widened to a 360 view, so you can see how close your alloys are to curbs if you're someone who likes to rub your alloy wheels off concrete now and again. To be honest, just taking the E-Tron GT to more twisty country roads to really see what it's like. It's a 2.3 ton car, so how does it do the bends with its quattro and 400, almost 500 brake horsepower and an insane level of torque? Wow, that's impressive. I'm doing 43 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers at the moment. It's so quick. Like, that shove you get as you take off in a Boeing 737, it's like that. We're just not going to Gran Canaria. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to. If I got to the choice of 2 weeks behind the wheel of this or 2 weeks drinking drinks with umbrellas sticking out of them, I'd choose this.
It's the first fully electric Audi that will be built in Germany, and it's in good company as the Audi R8 is also still built here at the factory in Berlinger Höfer. I think that's how you pronounce it anyway.
I do feel things like rumble strips fairly intensely through the car on these 20-inch wheels. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. The level of grip. You just feel it twitch the rear slightly if you brake heavily. Good God, it's fast. And yet, even though it's 2.3 tons, if you accelerate into a bend, now here's a really sharp bend that even an ID3 kicks out on. Whoa! You can actually feel the back of your head being put. It's like proper G forces. It's like 0.3 of a G, even if you have it on the most severe regen setting, and you can just feel the back just correct itself. Oh God. My ears haven't had time to adjust to the different altitude. It's like catch up their ears. Again, this car is doing something that your body hasn't managed to work out yet. I've never been in a car like that before. So yeah, you can get all that power down without nothing more than the odd twitch, which you're gonna kind of want anyway. That's with full traction modes and everything turned on.
It is featured on the vehicle in this review, but the air suspension is an optional extra. It will be standard on the RS version, and the suspension can be raised and lowered at the touch of a button. If the car is optioned with it, you can use the Audi app to remotely park the car. You don't even need to be inside.
So 472 brake horsepower electric car that costs €102,000 here in Ireland, and if you want one in 2021 you're gonna have to act fast because interest is strong, the force is strong in them, so I'm told. It's an amazing car to drive. More impressive than I thought it would be. Like I've watched reviews, probably like you, the Johnny Smiths, the Matt Watsons, and I was like, especially in the RS version, I was like, it can't be that good, but it is. And considering this, it does have some extras, but it's quite like what you're going to get in a standard car here in the Irish market. So it's not even like it's loaded to the gills. The adaptive suspension, the dampers are standard, but the adaptive full-on suspension isn't. That does make a difference. It's never harsh. There is a little bit of road noise, as we discussed earlier on in the video. Those 800 volt chargers, apart from my Audi, were about a year away, I think, in Ireland. Haven't talked to some people more than know than me about when they're going to be available. Now, you're still going to be relying on 50 kilowatt chargers by and large in Ireland, unless you're charging it at home. But it's an impressive machine, and I've literally had 2 hours to look at it, so I'm sure I'd like it even more if I had it for a week, which I will in the next few weeks. So thank you very much for watching this review of the brand new E-Tron GT. You're going to have to experience it for yourself, but it is something really, really special. Any comments, questions you've got about the car, if you want to leave them in the comments below. There's ways to support us on PayPal and Patreon and subscribing, whatever you can do, and I'll see you on the next one.